decimating your own rural economies. You're making your farmers poorer, and you're making the rest of the world millionaires while you're at home creating poverty as if that poverty was an industry that you wanted to grow. No, poverty is not an industry. We must not grow poverty. We must create wealth. And the way to create wealth is to use our stomachs to eat and process what we produce. That's how everybody makes money in agriculture in the world. Under this president, in 3 years, we have done as follows. First, we have increased production of rice by an additional, underline the word, additional 7 million metric tons of rice. Now, when we started, the president said, we had flood. You all forgot about flood in 2012. It was the worst flood in the history of this country. And I remember Mr. President calling me to his office. He said, how are we going to cope? Are you sure we are going to be fine? I said, Your Excellency, Mr. President, we are going to be fine. I know we are going to come out of this if we do dry season production. That is, as the water is, flood water is going, let us harvest it and begin to produce a lot of food. The president is a president that listens. He's a president that considers, he doesn't back at you. He listens. He's a very intelligent man. And he said, he looked me straight into the face. He said, go and do exactly what you've said. And so the pile of stuff in front of him, of those that were saying, let's bring in food, let's pound the place with food. He said, your enemies have been here. He took his pen, he canceled all those things. He said, go and produce the food in Nigeria. Today, I thank God that because of that, we didn't have a food crisis. We didn't have any famine. Everybody was saying we are going to do that, but don't believe people, because sometimes, the importers are the ones that will tell you, oh, the place is full of animals. All the animals are dead. If animals are dead, why were they not floating on the water in the first place? So the president did that. He gave us 14 billion naira. And then some incredible Nigerians. This guy here is Professor Oshiname. He's an old man, 74, 75-year-old man. I brought him out of retirement. He was the one that helped us to succeed in this particular work, right? And this man introduced these new varieties into Nigeria for us. Look at the grain. Next slide. Look at it. Long grains, just like you have in any part of the world, is what we produce. What happened as a result of that, next slide, is as follows. Today, all states in Nigeria are growing rice. The number of states that were doing dry season rice that Mr. President launched went from 10 to a total of 24 in 2013. From 10 in 2012 to 24 by 2013. 6 million farmers were reached with these high-yielding varieties that you see over there, and we were able to expand cultivated area by 2 million metric tons in this. We are rapidly replacing all the old varieties that you see. Look at the women and see. Next slide. Move fast with me. You see what is going on? Next slide. That is Mr. President. Look, rice pyramids that are showing up in Nigeria. This is not a Photoshop. This is right here in Nasarawa State with Olam Farm. That is about 9,000 hectares that they are doing over there. You can see the pyramids of rice that are coming up there. What has been the impact of the dry season? Let me give you the facts. Number of jobs created in 2012, wet season and dry season, 358,000, about 359,000. By 2013 wet season and dry season, we went to 751,000 jobs. Look at 2014 wet season. That does not include the dry season, 645,000 jobs. The people in the north, the young people that used to go to Lagos as Megad, as night guards, and so on, they're not doing that anymore. Everybody is working right on the farm in the main season and in the dry season. What has happened in terms of money? Money matters in terms of the impact. What has been the impact, cumulative impact of the rice transformation work in this country? 750 billion naira in terms of gross value of all the rice that has been produced so far in 3 years in this particular country. Look at what has happened to us in terms of milling. When I came in as minister, there was only one integrated rice mill in the country. What that means is a mill that can buy our paddy rice, process it into finished rice. Okay, not the one that polishes imported rice. Okay, today we have 18 large-scale integrated rice mill with total capacity of 700,000 metric tons, all under this president. Now, here is rice. We have changed your view of what you think is Nigerian rice, because when you think of local rice, you think of something, some kind of contraption. Where you eat it, it cracks in your mouth, it's black, it's smelly, and so on. All that is gone. What you see right here is the Nigerian rice. And many of you don't even realize it when you're buying it. I'm going to hold it up for you so that you understand what I'm talking about. This is not imported rice. This is Nigerian rice. You see what I'm saying? This, look at how beautiful it is. It's not imported rice. This is from Uzbam in Kano. This is Nigerian rice. This is what they call damodi. You want to eat it?
No, so that you can see the grains.
Okay, well, somebody has to open it because I don't have a... Yeah, get a... No, I can do that later, but let me keep going on this, right? Now, I want to continue. Look at the packaging that people do. This is what you normally call your father rice. You see, it's totally packaged. So when you go into the store, you say, people tell you, where's Nigerian rice? It's there, but the fact is that what you're looking for is gone. It doesn't exist. We've already changed many of those things that you used to think. Now, right here is from Benue State. It's called Mivap rice. Right here, this is Nigerian Mivap rice being done by former Attorney General of Nigeria, Andoaka, right out of Benue State. And the list goes on. These are some young people that are doing their own rice. Everybody has a right. Aren't you proud to be a Nigerian? Now look at it. The next slide, please. Yeah, range of rice investments going into rice. Olam is one of the largest producers of rice in the world. They have in Nasarawa State invested $125 million. Commercial rice production, commercial rice milling. Dominion Rice in Taraba State, $40 million investment on 30,000 hectares. And Aliko Dangote, Africa's richest man, has just put in 1 billion naira. It's not $1 billion. It's not 1 billion naira. $1 billion is 165 billion naira to be the largest investor in food production in Africa, not in Europe, not in Latin America, right here in Nigeria. Look at the meal. Where's that meal? Please show me the meal. Yeah, this is the meal that the president commissioned, the Olam rice mill. Next slide, please. This is when we signed the $1 billion thing with, thank you very much. Right. This is what we signed, the $1 billion thing with Aliko Dangote. I am proud of Aliko Dangote, and I'll tell you why. He came to my office and he said, well, you know, I think the policy of the president is working. I'm going to put money into rice. And he said, I will put in $300 million into rice. And as he was walking out of my office, he was holding on to the door. And I said, Aliko, he looked back. I said, let God use you to remove from Nigeria the shame of being the largest importer of rice in the world. He looked back at me. He said, by God's grace, we will make Nigeria the Thailand of rice in Africa. He came back 3 months after. He said, I've changed my mind. I said, change your mind. Why? He said, no, I changed my mind from $300 million to $1 billion US. That is where we are going. We are producing so much rice than before. Look at this line. You can see how our rice production continues to go. The red line you see over there. But the green line here is our milling capacity, ability to mill that rice that we are producing. And that is why we are working so hard to make sure we can close this gap and begin to process high quality rice. That is what we are doing. When you say you want to find rice, it will find it once we close this gap and we can mill at international quality standard all this rice that we are doing. That's why the president approved in council for us to invest 13 billion naira in new rice mills. There will be 10 of them with total capacity of 360,000 metric tons to begin to close this particular capacity gap that we see over here. Now, next slide is on sorghum. I just want to say one thing about sorghum. Sorghum is a money-making crop. Sometimes people pass gold by and they think gold is sand because they can't see beyond the sand they're looking at. Sorghum, Nigeria is the largest producer of food sorghum in the world. America is the largest producer of feed sorghum in the world. The Americans are millionaires. The Nigerians producing sorghum are poor people. And so we decided that we have to add value to our sorghum. And next slide will show you exactly what we've done. Next slide on that. You see, today